Anybody here know how to contract somebody now?
Yes.
Right? You need to do that. So if you have downlines, don't be afraid to like help them. Sit down with them, get on the phone with them, because again, you want to learn this stuff, but more importantly, you want to say how many people in my business can do what I do. Right? That's the question you got to keep asking yourself. How many people in my business can do what I'm doing? Whether it's a kitchen table appointment, whether it's appointed people, whether it's contracting people, all that stuff you got to make sure. So this whole class, keep in mind, is a duplication process. It's not about how much you know, it's about how much people in your business knows that stuff. The next thing we want to talk about is, we're at the point now we're starting to pop up offices all around the place, and I want to make sure that if you, first of all, anybody that's a national marketing director and above, you should either have an office or plugged into an office. Anybody that holds that title, how many people with that title in the room? Right, raise your hand high. Right, if you have that position, the way you're going to grow your business is you got to actually plug into some place to grow your business, and it can't be just a coffee shop. So there might be an office 30 miles from you, 40 miles from you, 50 miles from you. It is your duty if you want to build a business to plug into that office. Like I know in this office here, I think Charles at. You do, what days you do meetings here?
Mondays and Saturdays.
Mondays and Saturdays. So if you're within 50 miles of this office or 100 miles of this office, you'd plug into this office, right? Because that's the kind of commitment it takes to build a business. So now you're a national marketing director, you got this office, you want to make sure that you're running a compliant office. I'm going to bring up some of these guys. I'm going to start with the CEO because who's better to tell you how to run a compliant business? I'm hearing it from the horse's mouth itself. So you got to make sure that when you're going to run an office, there's a lot of details that you got to make sure. Let me ask you this question. If you're running an office and somebody from the financial service department came in and asked you, what do you guys do here? What would you tell them?
Stop.
Especially if you don't have a license. What would you tell them? Right? So we want to make sure that we bring you up to speed. You are going to pass this message on to other people that's going to run in an office. So without any further ado, look, let me tell you, I met Dan maybe about 5 months ago. And since I met Dan, we butt heads a few times, but that's what people do in business. It's a perfect marriage when you're butting heads because two people can't be exactly the same. Otherwise, you don't need one of them. Right? So, but I'll tell you one thing. He's always looking for input out in the field. And if you're not out there doing things, you don't have any input. Right? So we want to get you out in the field so he can know you on a first name basis. How cool is that? You got a company that's going to be $1 billion company and the CEO knows you first name. Is that cool? Yeah. You know how he gets to know you? When you leave here Saturday and you start putting your name on the scoreboard, that's where they measure people. All right, so without any further ado, let's bring up our CEO. Give him a stand up and give him a big ovation. Please stand up. And how do you feel?
All right, thank you, Rocky. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm excited. This our company inspired me to always leverage what's going on in the field. And Rocky and Sattie, out of anybody in the entire company, they've led the field as far as putting processes down, as far as showing our associates and team leaders what needed to happen to do business. And our company isn't about recruiting, even though we'll say it's about recruiting, it's about recruiting, it's about recruiting. It's not about recruiting. Our company's not about recruiting. Our company is about doing business. If you recruit someone, do you make any money and have you helped that individual? You really haven't. You have to show them every step of the way what's necessary for them to build a team and help every single person on their team become successful. If they don't, then they're not going to be as successful as they personally could be. And Rocky and Sattie, the thing I saw about them is that they're willing to do everything possible. Sattie helps how many people outside of your guys' hierarchy? As many as probably inside your hierarchy, right? Probably. As many outside. And when does that happen? When does it happen when you get people that are the best in the company helping you or your team and they don't make one penny off of that? Is that a good thing? I think that's the culture that we have to breed. And that's what I always want our company to be known for, that we help each other. And I think there's many reasons why you do it. The more you help someone else, the more the help's going to come back to you. It always works that way. Okay, whatever you give, it comes back in multiple. Rocky's going to talk about compliance. What I want to do, if it's okay with Rocky, is just give an overview of where we're at now and show you how I think that will help build into a very, very, very compliant company. Because to me, what one word do you think to me, compliance equals what? What would you guess?
Check.
Check. Money.
Consistency.
Consistency, yeah.
Compliance equals consistency. Do you agree, Rocky?
Absolutely.
The more consistent we are, guess what happens? The less problems and less mistakes we make. Right? The more consistent we are. And we do that by having our processes. We do that by having all of our systems set up. And I'm going to start with, first of all, which my goal over the last 2 months has been to completely change what I see as the surface and then the interior culture of a company. Okay? And I think up until about 2 months ago, our culture was, we're going to be the fastest growing financial services company in history. We're going to be very successful. We're going to be a $1 billion company, and that's all great. Okay, as a CEO, I even have to say those things. But in reality, that's not my culture. My culture is that we have to do everything we possibly can to help people, and in that same breath, we're going to help ourselves, and I think that's what then generates success. And our culture has to be something where we're going to follow the system. So our culture is modified. Instead of saying we're going to recruit 1,000 people, we're going to recruit each person, and one at a time, we're going to try to make those people successful. You like that model or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and I don't think a lot of other companies are going to have that model because they don't have the patience, nor do they have the systems, nor do they have the know-how on how to put these things together. I pretty much have hidden in a hole for the last 2 months after the convention because one of the things that had to happen was we had to put these materials together. And I had some help on some of them, but after getting a little bit of help, I said, you know what, to get this at the standard I want it for our company, I'm going to do it myself. So that's why a lot of you probably haven't seen me out, haven't been out. I've been working on getting all their stuff together. So one of the main things is putting this big fat book together along with some other projects. But our culture now is simple. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you are, doesn't matter how much insurance you've sold or haven't sold in the past. We're a very simple culture. And the base culture is going to be, one, when someone joins, they're going to do their dimer and they're going to do their internal consumption. If not, you might as well just leave because you're not going to be part of the team. Okay? Anybody not like that? If you do, you should probably leave now. Is that true, Rocky? You don't like that? Second is then, you're going to do 5 field training sales with whoever recruited you. That's how you're going to learn. Even if you've done $150 million of sales in insurance before, I don't care. You're going to do 5 field training sales with your upline leader. Okay? Anybody not like that? Those two things basically make up 99% of our culture because of all the things surrounding that. Because ultimately, when you're going to read in our book, you remember how with our system everyone talked about, what's your first step? What's your first step in our system? That's it's written down in here. It's not you figure out your why, you figure out your list, and you make your big list of 200 people. Remember that? Okay? And really, does that do you any good to start there? It doesn't.
No.
Because you're no good to start there. It's the worst place to start. And that's not what built A.L. Williams. We deviated because we pretty much got tangled up in Hubert Humphrey. He made up a system that deviated from A.L. Williams. And we copied that one, and that's not the system. The system that built A.L. Williams was, and remember, 1.5 million recruits, 750,000 people got licensed, 10 million life insurance sales. Do we want to deviate from that? I don't think so. So the system was you helped a family make the right financial decisions first by buying their life insurance. Then guess what you did? Then you recruited them in.
Right.
If someone can believe in the product, how good of a recruit and associate are they going to be?
Right.
They're going to be awesome. As Rocky would say, it doesn't sound like him, they'll be awesome. Right? It'd be awesome. So we're going to go and we're going to educate people on finances for their own families. We're going to do the dimer, we're going to sell it, and we're going to hopefully have them join at the same time because you're going to have two people. You're going to have someone that you're going to sign up just because they want an opportunity, right? And that's great. Then what do you do with that person? You put them through the same system. You do the dimer, you do internal consumption, you do 5 field training sales. Now, if instead I go and I meet someone and I set an appointment, not to recruit them, but to help them make good financial decisions for the family, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the dimer, I'm going to help them get the right insurance, I'm going to educate them, and then once they see how it works, I'm going to try to recruit them. So it comes down to, we're going to sell the people we recruit, we're going to sell the people we don't recruit, and the people that we don't recruit, we're still going to try to recruit. Okay? Everyone understand that?
Yes.
So it's not going to be get people to bop, get people to bop, get people to bop. That's great. We want to get as many people to bops as possible. But I think more important, more powerful meetings are the ones Rocky's setting up with a lot of his people, which is set up individual meetings either at their home or at their business, and you help them make good financial decisions for their family. And guess what that guarantees is going to happen? A field training sale. It guarantees a field training sale is going to happen. Okay? And it guarantees internal consumption. It'll force the issue that we are here to help people make good decisions. So, does everyone know what our mission is in the company? Everyone know what the mission is? What is it, Ohio?
Restore financial independence for everybody.
Yeah, restoring the dream of financial independence and prosperity to families everywhere, right? That's a big mission. That's great. So we're going to put it over here. That'll always be our mission. We're not going to change that. But what's been our crusade? We've had none. Whatever you say, we've had none, right? Right? Yeah, we had a crusade. We've not had a crusade. And that's okay. You know, we said build $1 billion company, recruit 1 million people. Those aren't crusades. Crusades are things that really, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to achieve our mission? And our crusade, we made up our crusade about 10 days ago with the executive leadership. And the crusade is protecting the financial future of America, ... one family at a time. That's our crusade. Does that sound like what we do?
Yeah.
Does that sound like exactly what we do? That's all we're going to do. We're going to do it one family at a time. And when you hear that, I put it together this way because I wanted protecting in there. Everyone tried to fight it. I'm like, no, we're using protecting. Because what are the 3 main things we really are focusing on now? Life insurance, health insurance, and P&C. What do those 3 things do? They protect. So if we're going to do it, we might as well say it, put it in writing, and now I have the logo redesigned. So you know how it says QS2, Quantum Success Strategies right now for the logo? It's going to be the same exact QS2, but underneath it, we've already designed it, it's going to say, in smaller lettering, protecting the financial future of America, ... one family at a time. That's what our logo is going to be with the tagline. You like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our crusade.
Nice.
Okay? That's our crusade. That's what Rocky's doing out there right now. That's why they're being successful at doing what Charles does right now. You go out there, you help families protect themselves. But you do it one family at a time. You don't recruit 1,000 people, and then how can you help 1,000 people at a time? You can't. It's impossible. But you can do it in the field, like the successful people on the leaderboard are doing. They're doing it one family at a time. Okay? So I really like the crusade, and I think we have to have that, because if we don't have a crusade, we can't have a culture. Do you believe in that? If we don't have a crusade, we cannot. It's impossible to have a culture unless we have that crusade. We have to have something that we all can believe in our heart. So Yuri can say, Yuri has the biggest heart in this room, probably. Okay? He has to feel it in there, and when he feels it in there, guess what's going to happen? Magic. Right? When you feel that, it's truly in there, not just restoring the dream of financial independence, that's a great mission, but so what? We have to get it down to the crusade level, because the crusade level is the grassroots level. That's when you're doing things in the field. That's when sales are being made. That's when families are being helped. Okay? Now, as part of the culture, we also have to instill what I think is very necessary, and again, this is my idea. 99% of these ideas came from the field. Okay? 99%. So I'll come up with my ideas, but ultimately, I would rather take one of your ideas, and then what I'm best at, and I don't know why, but I'm best at is taking an idea and making it better. That's what I do well. Okay, and then I like to give credit for whoever came up with the idea, I just then make it a little bit better. The leaderboard. Everyone said we need this for a long time. The first goal was to just wait until everything could be computerized. Everything was automatically calculated. Well, we should have that done in about 45 days anyway. So right now, when you see the leaderboard, what I decided to do was take resources from the company and say, every day we're going to manually calculate out the leaderboard for you. We needed that so that you could have on a daily basis something that's going to measure our culture. Because what also is our culture about? Success, competition, making sure that you're doing out there what you're doing, and being recognized for that success. Is that true?
Yes.
Anyone want to be not recognized for the success in here? If you do, then you might as well just stick with your current job. Right? Stick with your current business, right? Right? If they don't want to. So we want to make sure. And now there's a good thing about the leaderboard. Leaderboard's going to show, and we picked different categories. Because right now, I want to show a category which shows how much business is submitted. Because sometimes it takes a while to get the insurance approved, right? I don't want that person to be demotivated simply because it hasn't come down. I want it to show them. If you submitted it, boom, it's here. So we have a submitted category. Then there's a second category because I want to make sure no one's giving bogus insurance application. Like we know someone from the local area was doing this before when they were out. Not to mention any names, but his nickname for me is called the Worm.
The worm.
Submitting bogus illustrations. Okay? We don't want that. So I want to show, here's what's illustrated, here's what's submitted, here's what's approved. Then there's another category for health insurance approved. There's another category for actual compensation received. Those good categories for now?
Sure.
We also have, once we get the whole system down, it'll show team, right? Like you and I talked about, Zooey, we're gonna have the team as far as how much BV points are generated by your total team, so you know who the biggest team leaders are too. Is that cool?
Cool.
Okay, and then we have the recruiting numbers. We have to have the recruiting numbers also. So guess what? On here, you're gonna see it. When you see the leaderboard, I think it just says QS2 leaderboard. It's gonna say QS2 champions leaderboard dash, and guess what it's gonna say after that? Walking the walk. Right there, in your face every day. And that's why I had it come up. I got rid of the home page as far as your dashboard.
All right, let's display.
Everyone at home office wanted to fight me on this, and I said, I don't care what you say, I'm not doing it. Every time someone logs into the back office, all I want them to see is the leaderboard. For two purposes. One, those people that are walking the walk, you're going to feel good, and you're going to feel lifted. Those of you that are talking the talk, not walking the walk, I want you to see that every flipping day. That's simple.
Your face not there.
Every day.
Burn.
Okay, it's in your face. So it's in your face for good and in your face for bad. And that's why, as long as you can do it in this balance, that you get rewarded if you're doing what you do, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror every day if you don't. Isn't that the way that we can motivate?
Yes.
But I think that's a proper way. So I really took it. It actually was probably, and I didn't tell Rocky, this probably a conversation we've had before the convention. And it had to do with, we didn't talk about the word culture, but we talked about what had to happen now to make us the company we need to be. Okay, so Rocky and I, it's so funny because if you heard he and I have a conversation, we'll be yelling, screaming, and that's like when we're happy. This is our personality. Like, yeah, then we're happy, smiling, have a drink, and everything's fine. And if we're not happy, then we're still yelling, screaming. You can't tell the difference. That's our personality. So, and the funny thing is, I know Rocky thinks I don't listen to everything he says. I'm a really good listener. I might not react. I might not do it right away, but I'll hide it away. And all the things we're doing now have to do with one of the conversations we had, I think it was about 10 weeks ago. And it was about how do we make sure we get all these things implemented. Can't do it immediately, right? I don't have 100 hours in a day, but 24 hours a day I do. I'll sleep 1 hour, get the rest done. So leaderboard, you have to promote that, and you have to do everything you can to be on it. That's why we have 25 spots. We're not going to do a 10 leaderboard. I don't think that's good. I don't like a 10 leaderboard. I like a 25. And as we get bigger, we might do 100. Okay? Because then if you're 99, you'll try to fight to be 95 or 90. So right now we're going to 25. Okay, those categories. But hopefully we'll go later. Yeah,
Are we going to have a separate category for PNC?
we will.
Okay.
We will. Yeah. Yeah, that'll probably take about 30 days because that's going to have to be the computer system.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that'll definitely be up there. Okay, now promotions. I'm going to cover promotions and why I think that also ties in just with the vision of the company, as well as our culture, as well as compliance. When we were in pre-launch, we gave away a ton of promotions, whether it was NMD, VCs, whatever it was, because of getting started, right? And you had to do that. Is there any way we could not have done that? We had to, right? That's part of the structure. Not one more promotion will be given away. Okay? Not one promotion will be given away. Do you think a promotion given away really is going to feel the same as earning that promotion? No matter what you say, it does not. Why do you think in everything in life you have to earn it? It makes you prouder. It shows that you're a study that other people can follow. It shows that you deserved it. All these things happen. No more promotions. We made it very easy though, because we just created the RPM model, right? Has everyone seen the RPM model? Well, we'll show it a different day, but have you seen the RPM model?
Yeah.
I'm a freak when it comes to acronyms. You don't know me enough yet to know this, but I try to make an acronym for every single thing I do in life, basically. I think it makes it easy to understand. So I thought, okay, what is going to be, I want something that's going to be this speedy way to get promotion. Because I do not want promotion given away. I want to make it easy, but I want to make it speedy and fast and everything. And I thought, oh, I'm thinking, well, yeah, if I could come up with something RPM, that'd be great. I was thinking, rev the motor. And I'm thinking, okay, our rapid promotion model. And I thought, we have it. It took about 2 minutes. We had our title, rapid promotion model. And it's there to make sure that everyone knows we have the easiest promotion guidelines of any of our competitors. Did you realize that? Our standard ones? You realize that, Zoe? We do, right? Compared to all the other companies as far as how to become an NMD. How to become a vice chairman. Ours is easier than anyone, right? But I said, what if we can make it easier and now we can tie that back into our culture? Talk that I had with Rocky a while ago. What if we can tie that back into our culture? What if now, to become an NMD, all you have to do is get your Superstart pin, which we'll talk about. Superstart pin, which is basically do your internal consumption and do your 5 field training sales. Anybody like to wear their Superstart pin right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we actually ordered them. They'll be coming in and the leaders can order them, buy them, and they come two in a packet. But the top is going to be their 1 inch, their star. The top's going to say QS2 Superstart, and it's silver. That's what you get. So Zooey, if you recruit me, and I do my internal consumption, you give me my silver pin right away. I can start wearing that. Guess what happens when I go to a meeting and I have my silver star on and Janet doesn't have hers on?
People ask you a question.
People are going to say, well, where'd you get that? I did it because I did my internal consumption. Really? Yeah, that's why I did it. And then guess what if then Janet does hers, then Juan, he's the only one out of 20 people that doesn't have a silver pin on. Guess what happens? It's that wonderful term called peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
And either he's filtered in and he goes along or he's filtered out because we don't want him with us.
Good idea.
Okay? One way or the other. Then the second, which we design them so it's perfect custom design, the second is a gold pin. So now when I do my 5 field training sales with Zooey, I'm going to get a gold pin that goes on the back, and it's going to have 5 little green gems on it. Each gem represents one of my field training sales. You put them together, and it's going to be a silver star in the front, a gold star in the back with the 5 little gems on it. So now when I do my 5 field training sales, I actually have had what I call, that's my Superstart award pin. It's 2 pins put together. Anybody want to wear one of those?
Yeah.
Does that signify you as a leader?
Yeah.
Signifies you as a leader. Okay, that's called a pin. So all you have to do is get that and recruit 5 people, which you probably had to recruit at least 5 people to get 5 field training sales, right? And as long as you have applied for your test, applied for your pre-licensing course, you now will be an NMD if you do that in 25 days. 25 days. There's not a simpler way in any company, anywhere, even close to that, that allows someone to be that first level of executive leadership in any of the companies than what we came up with as far as our RPM. We did it on purpose. We want to promote people. We want them to achieve this. And we want to give them to it as quick as they can. No one should ever be an NMD or higher unless they do those things. They should not be an NMD unless they do the internal consumption and 5 field training sales. Point blank. So I asked Rocky, I said, is it okay we put people at an NMD level if we just do these things? And he said, yes, but add in that they have to sign up for their course for life insurance now. They don't have to take it yet, they have to sign up for it. Then that's good. Then you've already qualified for that part. Then all you got to do is your internal consumption, 5 field training sales. And anybody right now who is at QS2, of course this applies to all new people, right? But it also applies between now and you have until October 25th for anybody who's here. You also qualify. We're giving you all the way to October 25th, which was actually October 26th. The 1st to the 25th, you have 25 days to do these things. And you can become an NMD, even if you're here already. And all those people that aren't here, you can get them to come back in the fold. You got 25 days to get them through the system, okay? Because we want to get all the new people on the system. This is a culture. And now we need to re-indoctrinate the people who are already here, who haven't done anything back in the system, and say, here's the culture. You might only get 10 or 20% of them to do it, but what if you could get 10 or 20% of your people to do internal consumption and 5 field training sales? What does that mean? Huge. Huge. Okay? Now, the other thing we did was, everyone, how many people want to be a vice chairman? Everybody? If you don't raise your hand, you might as well get out of here because I don't know what you're doing sitting here if you don't want to be, as Rocky would say, okay? Everyone wants to be. But you either have to be given it or you have to earn it, which it is, even though ours is the easiest in the industry, isn't it hard to think about? You have to create, what is it, eight qualified NMDs. You have to do $1.5 million of business over 12 months. That's a big hurdle, right? There'll be a lot of people that'll do it, but it'll take a while. So instead, we also have not just our RPM for NMDs, we have an RPM for vice chairman. No other company has it like this. All you have to do is make sure you become an NMD, you qualify. So even if you're an NMD now, even if whatever it is now, you still have to qualify by doing your internal consumption, your 5 field training sales to be set up for your licensing course. So you have to be a qualified NMD, Superstart or regular. You have to then create 10 Superstart qualifying NMDs. So over 100 days, can you find 10 people, recruit them, get them to do internal consumption, get them to do 5 field training sales, and get those people to at least sign up for the life insurance class? If you do that, in 100 days, you're a qualified QS2 vice chairman. You do like that?
Say it one more time.
What is that?
Can you say that one more time?
Yes, basically the first one for an NMD, it's really called your 5525, but for an NMD, you have to be signed up per Rocky for your life insurance class, and you have to have 5 field training sales, you have to have 5 recruits, and you have to do your internal consumption. Okay, pretty simple, right? For NMD, you buy your own policy, you help 5 people buy the policy, you recruit 5 people, 25 days, you're an NMD. Okay? For vice chairman, you have to have at least 10 direct recruits, which you would have to anyway. you have to have 10 of those people become qualified NMDs, meaning using the system. That means you have to have 10 people that buy their own policy, buy field training sales, sign up for life insurance. And you have to do it in 100 days. That's not that hard. And guess what? If you focus on that, guess how much money at an NMD contract level you would then have generated over the course of the next 12 months, just if you do that in 100 days. Guess how much money you generate? $60,000 in commissions. So that's also part of the plan. The plan now is our culture has to be to do this, but it has to be end game what? To help people make money.
Right.
So this is all going to be part of the package I'm putting together. We're also going to have a brochure just on this, Rocky. It's going to be for the RPM. It's going to be a brochure just for the RPM that has all this in it that you need to use for marketing. Including, if you follow this, you're then going to be on pace to have generated $60,000 in commissions over your first 90 days. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
So again, everything has to be based and focused on what we're doing, okay? Superstar program. I'm going to go over that just a little bit. This is my little Bible now. This is what I've been working on for about 2 months. And probably going to have another month and a half in, but this is it. Notice it's green. It's a little green QS2 binder. This will be what I'm going to call the first stage, because what we're creating will be a 3-tiered culture education program. When someone joins QS2, what's the first thing they ask you? What do I do? What do I do next? What do I do now? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Every single person. And what have you told them at this point? You've done this. Rocky, what do I do? Sattie, what do I do? Zooey, Yuri, what do I do? That's what we said, right? So it's not their fault, it's our fault. We haven't developed the tools. So that's why for the last 2 months I said, what's the most important thing for our company? The most important thing for our company was for me to develop the tools that we're going to need to be successful. Okay? And taking input from the field. So what I did, I used a ton of information, which was actually created by Fuji, a little bit of it modified by Jackson, and I took Sheila Gill. Fuji, Jackson, and Sheila Gill, you had the 2 best documented systems that people were putting through. So I took those 2 and then I added a bunch of my own stuff in, okay? So everyone give Fuji and give Jackson and give Sheila. And with the Superstar program, this is going to be what I call, everyone's heard we have QS2 University, probably don't know what it means other than it's going to educate people. Well, our QS2 University, my brainchild was, after hearing what Rocky wanted to do with this, I thought, perfect. Because again, when someone comes up with the idea, I can usually make it better. Well, we're going to have what we call a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD. There's going to be 3 levels of education, okay, through QS2 University. Bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Okay? Again, that's our culture, right? Education, financial independence through financial literacy training. So the bachelor's is going to be, I've created a system for what every single new recruit must do in their first 100 days. Is that important?
Very important.
Because when someone says, what do I do? You're saying, you're going to do every single flippant thing that's in this book, and then you're going to be successful. Okay? You think someone will follow that? If you tell them if you do this, you're going to make 60 grand over the next 100 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that simple. And if it's step by step, including the processes that Sattie was talking about, we're going to go even more detailed. She's saying we're going to have pictures in everything. I'm going to go through all the different processes we're going to have documented for you. Every single thing you have to do to be successful to help that new recruit come on board is going to be documented with pictures. Click this button, click this, the instructions, click this button, click that, the instructions, everything. Does that make it easy?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to set it up for you. So we're going to show someone, actually I have it separated down into 1 page. And 1 page is pretty cool because on the 1 page, it's going to show someone exactly what they have to do in the first 100 days that they're with us. On 1 page, pretty cool. And we're going to show this in multiple ways. We're going to first show it in that I want people to know on 1 little simple page, what do they have to do in the first 100 days? So here's the sheet. We're actually going to have this on the internet. But on this chart, it's going to show what needs to be completed in the first 3 days. Complete your dimer and life insurance internal consumption transaction. The member date you fill in, this is the form you use for every single person. The due date, meaning 3 days later, and the date it was completed, and then you as a leader sign it. Okay? Complete your health insurance quote and health insurance internal consumption transaction. Member date, due date, success date, boom. Those things need to be done in the first 3 days. Everyone agree?
Yep.
Not the list. Now, what has to be done in the first 7 days? Create your list of 200 prospects. Manage your list of 200 prospects into your top 25 qualified market list. Member date, due date, success date, leader approval. Those are the main things that have to happen in the first 7 days.
Awesome.
What needs to be completed in the first 25 days? Complete 5 life insurance field training sales with your leader, member date, due date, success date. Earn your Superstart pin. We're going to tell them that's part of what you have to do. Sign up for your life and health insurance licensing class in the first 25 days, like Rocky's saying, and be promoted to Superstart NMD. What has to be done in your first 100 days? Take and pass your life and health insurance test. Get appointed with preferred QS2 carriers. Create 10 Superstart NMDs in your hierarchy. Be promoted to Superstart Vice Chairman. That simple enough?
Yeah.
That's the first 100 days. But that's the summary. We're going to go into all the detail for them in the book that you're going to train them. You're going to have a training manual because this book that we're creating, it's for Superstart people, for the new people, right? That's why we had to create it. Is that right? Everyone agree?
Yeah.
And that's wrong. I did not create it for the newbies. Who did we create it for?
Everyone.
The leaders. Only for the leaders. The leaders have to have the tool in their hand because when someone asks you that question, what do I do? You have to say, I know what to do. I'm going to lead you through this. You're going to have training meetings for them over the first 100 days that they're here to make sure they're going to hit their goals and make that success, right? So even though we say this is for the newbies, it's not. Who's it for?
For leaders.
For Zoe, for Ron, for Charles, for sure. It's for the leaders. Because if you have this in your hand, now guess what? You're never going to ask me again. Dan, what do I do with this person?
Yeah.
Right? Anybody like that idea?
Yeah.
We actually have, I'm going to look at it a little bit later today. I got the rough draft of the first version. It's going to end up being about 200 pages of the training manual. It started as a 20-page, how to get started. And I'm like, nah, I don't like that. I want to make it comprehensive. I want to have something better than anybody else has in the industry and make it very, very foolproof where you can use one section at a time to go through to train someone. I want to make sure no matter what, you cannot drop the ball training new people. Okay? Because if I leave a hole there, guess what most people are going to do? You're going to jump in it. No holes. You decide how much of it you want to use and you go through a training. And you'll know with each person. You don't have to go through the whole thing with each person, but at least we have it in front of them. Something else that's been asked for, which we're working on right now, should be done in less than 30 days, is our BOP in printed form will be a flip chart. Is that going to be important to have when you're out there?
Yeah.
We'll have that. Videos of the BOP will have that done as well. The RPM brochure I talked about. One brochure that I'm going to create, I talked to Quinn about this. And I think this will be one of our really cool brochures. And it's basically what makes QS2 different. And it's not going to be a whole fat company brochure, but it's going to be more probably pictures. And it's going to be like a flip chart just highlighting what makes us different without all the details. So one of them is going to be, of course, a picture of the QS2 Associates Bill of Rights. One of them is going to be, which Quinn had a great idea, is we're going to put in that you don't have to give up a leg to get promoted with QS2. That's
I like that. Yep.
So those are some of the most important things on a very beautiful brochure that'll let you go through and say to the leaders, because you'll really use that for a leader, right? Use that kind of brochure to go to a leader, say, here's what makes us different from the brochure. So we'll have that as well. One thing which we'll cover maybe tomorrow or Saturday, depending on what Rocky's schedule is, and that'll be what I've created, which is, again, last 2 months, Quantum Wealth Builder. Quantum Wealth Builder is software. It's proprietary software for us. Every single leader has told me, we need to get software, we need to get software, we need to get planning software, we need to make it easier. And I agree. And just because I didn't do it didn't mean I was fighting you. I love software. As long as it makes us do our job more efficiently and easy. Okay? All the software out there, the problem is it takes so long. Anybody like to do a financial plan that takes an hour of input? Terrible. It's terrible. And then people won't follow. Can we duplicate that? No, only with the crazy anal retentive members of your team will follow it. No one else will. They just won't. So instead what I did, I took software I've designed over the last 25 years, dummied it way down. This is software that I used over about 18 months to increase production of a 30-man, 30-woman group from about $50 million to $150 million of production over 18 months. The same exact software. I just now squished it down. We can duplicate it, okay? So it's proven. It'll be new to you, but this has been proven over the last 25 years with me. I created it. And it will allow you to do a whole plan in less than 15 minutes of input. I'd be able to train you, once it gets out, it'll probably be out in about 2 weeks, I can train you in about an hour, and you'll know everything you need to know about it. Okay? There's 4 sections. 4 sections. Again, not 15 minutes for each section, 15 minutes for all 4 sections to fill out. Okay? The first is our dimer, and we modified our dimer. So the dimer is no longer going to be called an FNA. It's not. The dimer is not an FNA. The dimer simply calculates out how much insurance someone needs, right? That's not an FNA. It's a part of an FNA. So the Quantum Wealth Builder is our financial needs analysis. but we're not going to call it FNA, we're going to call it QWB quantum multiple. First is dimer. So we took, again, input from the field, and what I found that people were doing out there in the field makes me laugh, it makes my throat dry at the same time when I think about this. When they were doing FNAs, they were doing FNA for, a lot of them were doing FNAs for the husband and the wife together. They were adding everything together in one FNA. And they were saying, okay, this is how much consumer debt we have, great, a mortgage we have. But then they were saying, okay, the husband makes $50,000, the wife makes $60,000, we make $110,000, we need it for 20 years, they put that into the FNA. And then they were saying, coming up with this number, they needed $5 million of life years, which was incorrect. And they weren't doing the retirement one right either. Think about it. So what we're doing is, it's now in there, and I'll show you this version. Our dimer now has side by side, and you'll calculate in one dimer the amount the man needs and the amount the wife needs all on one of the dimers. If you like that, do it together.
Yep.
Okay, and it takes no more time, literally. So it'll say, Bob, you enter the name, say Bob and Sue. And you enter in their consumer debt, so the consumer debt will carry over to both of them, it's the same consumer debt, because if one of them dies, it's the same consumer debt that needs to be paid off, right? Then it'll show Bob's income and how many years you want to replace that for. It'll show Sue's income and how many years you need to replace that for. It'll have one mortgage amount, because that needs to be paid off for both of them. It'll have one amount for education, how many kids, and then it'll have an amount that Bob wants to provide Sue for retirement, and the amount Sue wants to provide Bob for retirement. Click a button, it'll show on the next page how much life insurance he needs, how much life insurance she needs. That's it. Okay? And it's a lot simpler when I show you how it looks compared to what our current lane one looks like. You'll love it. Very, very simple, awesome, and that's the dimer. So everyone will be used to that, right? Because that's what we supposedly been doing in the field, the dimers. Now, the second part of that will be what I call PAD, and again, an acronym free. Plan, Assets, and Debts. Because you need to find out how many assets they have and how many debts they have and everything about those, right? So you'll be able to click a button and list out all their assets, and then once you list it, it'll list it on the bottom. Then you click, and you can do as many of those as you want. Then you click the debts, and you list out the debts they have, and it'll list all those on a page. Is that important to know, Rocky?
Excellent.
Right? That's called PAD. The third is called MRA, Monthly Resource Analysis. That's going to show how much money on a monthly basis. And again, this is going to compliance, because unless you get this information, can you make proper recommendations?
No.
You can't. It's impossible. So now the next one's MRA. And then talked to Zooey about this one before. He said we have to have this. Dr. Tony Reyes. We show their levels of income that they're bringing in per month. And then we list out all their different monthly expenses that they're paying. And then it's going to show a net. And if it's a positive, what does that mean? How much money they might have to go towards your plan, right? How much they can save, how much they can buy insurance with. And what if it's a negative?
They cannot. They need candidate for recruit.
It means even more so they need to join QS2, and you need to find them ways to reduce that negative down and make it a positive, right? And you can show that, because we're going to have a current side on it, and then there's another category, Rocky, put in modified. So what if you reduce their health insurance from $1,300 down to $500? Does that give them $800 more to go into your plan now? It's going to show it right there. Anybody like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's MRA. The last one's the best one. How many people want a reason to tell people to buy Index Universal Life? Raise your hands. Those of you that don't, you probably should leave right now then. Rocky, round them up.
Doors wide open.
Yeah, actually, then you got to increase. Instead of $49, you all pay $299 to get the checks to Rocky. Right? Everyone, and you have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, I don't know why you'd be sitting here. Seriously, I don't know why you'd be sitting here unless you're passionate about that. It hurts my heart if you're not passionate about that. So we've created what is the single best tool to allow you to do that. And the way you show someone why they should buy Index Universal Life versus other life insurance, because Index Universal Life provides a death benefit, right, Zooey? Mm-hmm. Provides a death benefit. So we're already past the fact they need life insurance, right? So what's the big benefit of Index Universal Life? Supplemental retirement income. Exactly. Supplemental retirement income. Exactly. That's what you want to say. Supplemental retirement income. Those exact terms. I didn't tell him to say that. He said it. That's exactly what I would say. Supplemental retirement income. Okay? So we now have a system that will let you put in, shows you enter in 4 asset categories, and you can name the asset categories. Maybe it's their IRA, their 401k, their brokerage account, their cash account. You put in how much they have in there, you put in how much they're saving per year, if any, you put in what rate of return you think they're going to earn on these assets. Fairly easy, right? Simple. Then you put in the age they want to retire, the income they want when they retire, the inflation rate. Again, very simple. Then you type in, there's 7 categories for miscellaneous income when they retire, such as Social Security, such as pension, such as part-time income, such as supplemental retirement income. Whatever you want to put, you put in there. Literally takes about 5 minutes to run it. You press a button, and it's going to show this cool graph It's already designed, I'm just not gonna show it to you yet. It's gonna show a graph that'll show if this is when they retire, each year, that's what their income has to grow by to keep pace with inflation, right? If each one of these is a year, is that true? Or they retire at 65 and they need $10,000 of income, they might need $20,000 by the age 95, is that right with inflation?
Whatever.
And then our calculator is going to show in income for how long they're going to meet those income needs. And then what happens, do you think, when it shows that? What does that mean right there? You have an income deficit. So guess what you have to try to do? Help them do that. And guess what's going to allow you to do that?
Index.
3 words: supplemental retirement income. Supplemental retirement income. So you go back and you enter in the box that they're going to get $3,000 per month from age 65 to 95. Can you do that easily? And you put down there that supplemental retirement income or index UL, and now guess what? It fills up that, and now it shows they have a successful retirement. Is that a simple thing?
Yeah.
What if you can do all 4 of those in 15 minutes?
Wow.
That's what you'll be able to do.
Awesome.
It's done. I just have to check it. I'm actually going to have probably Rocky beta test it for me next week, okay, to make sure that it does work for the field. And then I have to put the print together. We can do a printed report for them. We'll have all those things together. Now again, that's not about compliance, is it? But is this about compliance? It is. Unless you do this, we're not going to be compliant. Unless you go through a plan, we don't know is it the right amount of insurance for them. We don't know about their debts and liabilities and what we should be insuring, what we shouldn't be insuring. We don't know about their monthly income and how much they can afford. Because if you sell someone insurance, they better be able to pay for this insurance for a long time. Is that true?
Right.
And unless we find out what the goals are, how can we recommend anything for them? And are we going to hit their goals as far as retirement success evaluator? That's what RSE stands for, retirement success evaluator. Okay, so all that in one package. I think the last thing to talk about as far as compliance and how this fits in with the vision. So I'm just trying to give you a view of where we're at now, where we're moving towards. And most of the things I'm talking about are going to be done in probably the next 60 days. It's going to be short term. So when people haven't had patience and they've left QS2, do you think I'm glad about that?
I'm excited.
I'm actually very excited when people leave QS2 that shouldn't be here. People call me and go, Dan, is everything okay? Dan, everything? I go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how happy I am. But seriously, I can't believe how happy when the meatballs leave. And I'm giving this attitude because you have to have this attitude. Shirley is the ultimate, where's Shirley? She's the ultimate worst about getting rid of people. It's called a filter. That's why I call her the mother hen. Okay? She's the mother hen. She wants everybody there. Well, our system is based on filtration. Is it not, Zoe?
That's right.
And until you understand this, you're going to let yourself be dragged down by the people that should have been filtered out or that you should have filtered out. Okay? So you don't do anything negative to them, but you let them filter themselves out. You bring them in. If they don't do internal consumption, they just filter them out. I wouldn't spend any more time with them. If they don't do their 5 field training sales, they've been filtered out. I wouldn't spend any more time with them. If they don't go by your lead, I wouldn't spend any more time with them. You have to bring in the best people that are willing to follow your lead and follow the system. So when people leave, it's a good thing. It's the best thing. Because guess what? If they were leaving, they already had that thought in their mind anyway, right? They're never going to be a good team member. Who cares? Let them go. In fact, open the door. If you feel like kicking them in the ass on the way out, it's okay, but you don't have to. Shut the door. Don't let them back in. Okay? Let them out. They want to go, bring in someone new, bring in someone better who's going to follow your lead and follow the system. So this comes down to processes. We really have not given you the proper processes. So I'll take the blame, and then therefore I'll take the responsibility to create these things. Okay? So the processes we're going to create will be many. And again, it's going to make this book fat, but I don't want people calling Sattie and saying, how do I log onto my website, or how do I get someone signed up? I want someone calling Sattie and saying, how do I sell this policy? What do I have to do? What would you rather people call Sattie for, right?
Second one.
Right? And how about all those people that aren't in your hierarchy not calling you for something stupid? Would that be good? It'd be good, right? As long as they're trained. So the processes we're putting together will be just like you talked about, step by step, how to obtain your insurance license, how to navigate our website in your own back office, how to sign up a new associate, how to get appointed, step-by-step process, how to get an illustration for life insurance, how to process health insurance, all the important forms you're going to need in the preferred insurance providers. Will that teach someone 90% of what they need as far as navigating what we're doing?
Yep.
Yes.
All that will be in your little green binder. All that'll be needed. That's why it's gonna be kind of fat, because each of those is gonna be there. Some of the people don't need it, right? So you just skip over it. So what? Skip over it. But guess what? Probably 90% of us do need it, and I guarantee very few of us could walk someone else through those processes now. If it's in writing, can you walk them through it?
Yes.
And then you become a very good leader to them. Okay? So with this book, I swear I will slap whoever just takes this and gives it to an associate does not walk them through it. As a leader, you walk them through every step of what we're going to give you. It's not for the associate, it's for you, the leaders. Okay? It's for you. No matter how good they are, if they go through this, it's not going to be as important as if you walk them through it. Or you basically have someone walk through it. That's okay too. All right? I don't care if you do it, I want someone walking them through this, because nothing's more important. They will know what they're supposed to do. And you'll retain, you know how we say 11% is what we're going to retain?
Yep.
I will guarantee we'll retain a lot higher percentage than that if we use this. I don't know what that is. And a lot higher percent, could be 12%, could be 12, 13, 14, 15, could be 20. I don't know what it is, but we'll have a lot higher percentage if we walk someone through this.
I think
Okay.
20 to 25%.
And we could. Yeah, we could.
Keep it simple.
So that's my vision right now. My vision is turned 2 months ago after convention to make sure we're launched, to give you what's necessary to stay compliant, to do as much business as you can, to recruit the people and retain the associates here and make them very successful. So with that, turn it back to you, Ryan.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, the next person I want to bring up here is Dewey. Dewey is the guy actually